came out on the plate raw. And I looked and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. But the waiter pulls out a blowtorch and literally toasts this fish in front of the customer. And every customer that ordered it, they did the same thing. I mean, literally fresh, from pan to plate to your mouth in minutes.
Yes, and I love that. Like, the food here, just even aside from like the cooked food that you can get, but like the markets, it's so many fresh markets. You can get fresh fruits and vegetables. They don't use a lot of preservatives and chemicals and stuff in their food. So the food here is really, really tasteful to me. It's not necessarily, how can I say, like, it's not seasoned to the hills all the time, but it has natural flavor. So like apples, I don't really eat apples when I'm back home now because the apples here are just so naturally good and juicy, and it has a really robust taste. And then when I go back to the States, it's like bland and nasty, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I don't know, it's just the freshness of it all and how they prepare it. They prepare chicken like a million different ways here. Like, I grew up in the South, so chicken is like a main meat, and I thought I had chicken every way you could have chicken until I moved here. And then ramen, I love ramen. I like udon better though. You like ramen better?
Yeah, ramen is where it's at. And when I say it's fresh, I mean literally fresh. The thing that I like about here, very few restaurants back in the States can you see into the kitchen and you see how your food is being prepared, who's preparing your food, and it's almost like it's the standard here. See inside the kitchens, watch how we prepare your food. There's such pride in it. And you go into a restaurant, and restaurants really specialize in one thing. They don't try to serve you everything. They're not doing American food, tacos, hibachi, all underneath the same roof. It doesn't happen. You go to a ramen place, they do ramen. That's it. They're experts in ramen.
Right. They just do ramen. And you know, a lot of ramen places, well, I don't want to say a lot, but a good bit of them make their own noodles, like, in there.
Make their own noodles. They make their own stock. And the broth or the stock that they use typically takes up to like 48 hours. You know, doing my research, because I wanted to do it for myself at home, and it really takes about 48 hours to make a standard ramen broth.
Yeah, I don't have 48 hours. That's why we just go eat ramen from Arashi, which is so good. Arashi's is one of our favorite restaurants. But that's my number 5, food. So that's all the reasons why I love the food here. My number 4 would be the culture and customs. And it's just, I don't know, the culture here is really nice. It's very historical. And it's so many different things to go see and do in regards to culture and customs. They have a lot of free things that you can go see. So I just really like the overall Japanese culture, which really, you got me into the Japanese culture, because it's really weird, because Japan was one of your like top
number one
travel destinations, and for me it was never on my radar. So you know, you're into anime and all that stuff, so it got me into the Japanese culture. And then when we actually moved here, it was crazy to see how much of the actual culture is in the animes. Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely. Shout out to all my anime lovers and manga heads
go.
out there. You know, it's everywhere. It's in every ad. It's in, I mean, oh my gosh, if I could show you guys what our mail looks like, you would be like, oh, what? Like, everybody's got an anime character. The artwork has been infused into the culture, and it's everywhere. But like she said, from the cartoons, I mean, I was just blown. I was recognizing things that I'm actually seeing in person that were drawn into the cartoons. Tokyo Tower,
Shibuya Crossing.
Shibuya Crossing. there are so many things that they put into the animes that gives you an exact idea of what the culture is actually like. A lot of it is not very far-fetched. Once again, it brings you back to the attention that, the amount of attention they put into detail.
Yeah, so I don't know, it was crazy to me. I forgot which anime you were watching and what episode or whatever, but literally Shibuya Crossing was like right there in the anime, and it was a very accurate depiction of Shibuya Crossing. It had the train station, it had the dog, it had like the huge intersection and everything. So I definitely love the culture here. My number 3 thing, which you stole one of mine. No, you stole like 2 of mine. But anyways, my number 3 thing is customer service. Apollo knows this, and probably most people who know me knows this, but I am huge on customer service. Like, I'm really big on customer service. We've literally gone places in the States. We walk in the store, and if people don't acknowledge us that we walked in, like, good afternoon, or hey, welcome to whoever, or anything, can I help you? If you don't acknowledge me, I will turn around and walk back out. Do I think I'm that important, or it's going to hurt the business that I turn around and walk out? No, absolutely not. But it's just the principle behind the matter. Like, and see, that's the Southern roots in me. When someone walks in a room, or when you walk in a room, you acknowledge everyone in the room. So for me to walk into your establishment and you not acknowledge my presence when I came in here to look or buy something, it's like rude to me. And I do not go to McDonald's in the States. Like, that's not a thing. I don't go to McDonald's in the States at all.
So when you walk into a place here, it's almost like, for those of you familiar with the chain Moe's, when you walk in, everyone that's an employee shouts, welcome.
Welcome to Moe's.
Yep, you get welcome to Moe's, welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's.
And so when you walk into a store, our favorite store here, 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven, baby.
You walk in and you're greeted from the time you hit the door. And when you leave, they literally say,
Arigato gozaimashita.
And they bow and they repeat it until you are out of the store. So you're acknowledged when you walk in, you're acknowledged when you walk out. And I mean, just overall, you feel like I'm the goddamn man when I walk inside this store. Like, you would think I knew these people from way back when, the way that they shout you out.
Right.
But it's just what they do.
Right. We go back like 4 flats on a Cadillac. That's the feeling it gives you. So for me, I can't say culture shocked, but when I come back to the States, I literally don't go anywhere for like 2 weeks. And I'm usually only there for like 2 weeks. But it takes me some getting used to. And there are certain stores and places that I will not go to now because I cannot handle the lack of customer service. So my number 2 is, this is another one you stole from me, but my number 2 is the ability to innovate, or the Japanese's ability to innovate and preserve tradition at the same time. So they just do a really good job of that. And like Apollo was saying earlier, they just embrace the culture. They have a lot of different programs and things here that you can do. And one of them is like an exchange program. So we would exchange cultures with a Japanese family, or they would teach us Japanese and we teach them English. And they just really want to know about our culture. And so while they embrace new ideas and they, make changes and they modernize, they still hold true to a lot of their traditions. And the temples, that's a great example. The kimono dressing, great example, which within my first year here, I actually got to participate in the kimono dressing, which is called Kitsuke, if I'm saying that right. But it's where you dress up in a traditional kimono dressing. And it was very informative. And the 3 ladies that did the kimono dressing for us spoke absolutely no English. But we had a great time. We laughed, and we bought them gifts, and they gave us gifts for letting them practice on us, because they were teaching one of the younger ladies how to do the kimono dressing on different body types. So they just really embrace you. Like, it's just a different vibe and feeling here. So we'll get further into it a little later on, but that's my number 2. My number 1 thing that I love about being in Japan is there is so much to do, experience, and explore here. Like, so many things, and it's a lot of free things too. They believe in festivals. Like, they have a festival for everything, everything, and I think we need to get out to more festivals. But it's just always so much to do. Ooh, and like, for example, at one of the art museums in Tokyo, or further into Tokyo, the first Sunday of every month, the admission is free. Like, I've never been there and had to pay, because I always go on the first Sunday. I think I've been twice. But like, things like that. And they offer so many different free services and just different things that you can attend and enjoy, to embrace their culture and to immerse yourself in their culture.
And the thing that I love is just getting on the train and getting off of a stop. Every single train stop is like a different world.
Yeah.
Is a completely different world. And so you may see some common things, 7-Elevens.
Definitely 7-Eleven.
which I don't mind. But every stop has something different to offer. There's some train stations that you get to, and it's just a little small place, and you got to get off and kind of explore the area. There are other stops like Yokohama Station, Yamato Station, Sagami-Ono Station, that are all, I mean, they're like malls. And there's stuff to do within the train station. I mean, floors of stores and restaurants and just its own little world. And you haven't even actually left the station yet.
Yeah, you can literally like take the train from station to station and have a good time. And the majority of the train stations he just named, those are, I don't want to say hubs, but those are like the bigger train stations where you transfer lines and stuff. So it's typically more to do at those stations and around those stations. But you could literally ride from train station to train station in one day. And well, not all of them in one day, but you can go to like 2 or 3 and spend the whole day at 2 to 3 train stations. So I do like that. So we talked about likes. Now we're going to talk about dislikes. So what do you dislike about Japan?
Okay, guys. I enjoy an occasional adult beverage. But here, there is a 1 drink limit. And not saying that you can't have more than 1 drink, but if you do have a drink, you cannot. You cannot.
Absolutely
drive.
No.
It is, I mean, I can't stress how much it was stressed to me that this is a no. And especially as an American citizen over here, attached to the government, we are considered ambassadors. And so we're held to a stricter guideline.
Yeah.
Versus just being a regular tourist. So it was very, 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 very pressed upon me that if you do decide to have a drink, make sure that you have yen loaded onto your Pasmo, which is like your subway card, and be prepared to walk and take the train. Now, what's even more crazy about this rule is that you cannot operate anything that is considered a vehicle.
Right. Nothing.
So you cannot drive a car.
Nope.
Motorcycle.
Nope.
Moped.
Nope.
Bicycle.
Nope.
Razor scooter.
Nope.
Rollerblades.
Skateboard.
You can't ride. You can't a skateboard, and you can't even ride a horse. Because people asked all these questions and the answer came back no. So if you're looking to party and to have a good time, make sure you're going to be